Welcome back. This is Chapter 4 The Enemy, written by Pearl Asbach. And today I'm going to explain is number 36 to you. So here we go. She herself served him, for none of the servants would enter the room. Hannah herself went in to attend to the wounds of the patient, since none of the servants in the house was ready to go in and attend to the wounds of the patient. And since she had to enter the room all alone, and so she had to apologize to him, to the enemy. When she came in the first time, she saw him summon his small strength to be prepared for some fearful thing, and the first time she entered after the enemy's regaining consciousness, she found him getting prepared, getting ready for some sort of a deadly fight with her, since he believed that the lady coming in was a part of enemy, and that she was there to arrest him once more, and he was not prepared to get arrested the second time, and he was preparing to save himself, protect himself. Don't be afraid, she begged him softly, and very softly, very humbly she begged, she requested him, she assured him that he was not to worry. There was nothing to be afraid of. "How come you speak English?" he gasped. And then he was so surprised, he was shocked. He was very much surprised that she was speaking English. A Japanese speaking English was a big surprise, which was, of course, pleasant one for him. And he wanted to know how could she speak English, although he uttered these words gasping. "I was a long time in America," she replied, and Hannah replied she was there in America for a very long time, and due to this she could speak English well. She saw that he wanted to reply to that, but he could not, and so she knelt and fed him gently from the porcelain spoon. He ate unwillingly, but still he ate. Here she noticed that he wanted to respond, he wanted to reply, but he could not due to weakness in body. And so she knelt down and fed him gently from the porcelain spoon, that is a special kind of clay spoon, that is china clay spoon. He ate, though he ate, but he was not very willing to take the food. Unwillingly he accepted the food. "Now you will soon be strong," she said, not liking him and yet moved to comfort him. "Now," she said, you would soon be very strong," since he was accepting the food, since he was taking the food. So she knew that soon he would be strong enough to stand on his feet and to react to others. Though she said all this not because she liked him, not because she grew a soft corner for him, but she moved, she went to comfort him, she went to make him feel good. He did not answer, and to this he did not answer. When Sadao came in the third day after the operation, he found the young man sitting up, his face bloodless with the effort. And on the third day, when Sadao came after the operation, that is, on the previous 2 days, or the first 2 days, he did not come to the patient. On the third day, he came to him to check, to examine him, and there he found that the patient was sitting up. Seeing the doctor, he sat up, though he had no idea who that person was, and that's why probably he sat up. His face bloodless. As he sat up, there was no color. It turned pale due to the effort. "Lie down," Sadao cried. "Do you want to die?" Sadao shouted, lie down. "Don't try such things if you want to live. If you repeat these kind of things, you will simply kill yourself." He forced the man down gently and strongly and examined the wound, and then he forced him lie on his bed, and then examined the wound. "You may kill yourself if you do this sort of thing," he scolded, and in a scolding manner he informed him if he repeated such kind, he warned him, if he repeated such kind of things, then he would kill himself. "What are you going to do with me?" the boy muttered. He looked just now barely 17. "Are you going to hand me over now?" Or this young man, this patient, asked a question to him. What was he going to do with him? That was his question. The boy looked as if he were 17 years of age, not even 17. And he asked if he was considering to hand him over to the police. For a moment Sadao did not answer. He finished his examination and then pulled the silk quilt over the man, and Sadao did not answer. For a moment he was considering all the options. He finished his examination. He nicely examined the wound, and after that, pulling the silk quilt over the man, and then he said, "I do not know myself what I shall do with you." He said even he had no idea as what he was going to do with him. I ought of course to give you to the police. You are a prisoner of war. No, do not tell me anything." He said since he was a prisoner of war, so he should rather hand him over to the police, and he requested him not to beg him of anything. He put up his hand as he saw the young man was about to speak. He then put up his hand. He raised his hand as the young man was about to speak. "Do not even tell me your name unless I ask it." And he warned him, he cautioned him not to speak even his name, not to speak a word, not even his name, unless he was asked for it. They looked at each other for a moment, and then the young man closed his eyes and turned his face to the wall. And for a moment both of them looked at each other, since both of them were feeling a little insecure, since the patient was not knowing what his fate was there, whether he would live or he would die. He was not sure whether he would be handed over to the police again. There was insecurity in his mind. At the same time, there was insecurity because Sadao, being a citizen, he had certain obligations to the nation. So there were also a lot of questions in his mind. So that's why he was worried. He was tensed. So both of them looked at each other for a moment, and then the young man closed his eyes and turned his face to the wall. Being disappointed, he turned his face to the wall. Okay, he whispered, his mouth a bitter line. He just muttered, he just said, okay. And since it was a disappointment for the patient, he was disappointed. He thought that the doctor would come to his help, so he had that hope in with him. But he was denied. He was refused any help, and so he was disappointed, and that disappointment was obvious on his face, in his mouth. Outside the door, Hannah was waiting for Sadao. He saw at once that she was in trouble, and outside the gate, outside the door, outside the room, his wife Hannah was waiting for him, and he noticed from there that she was a little worried. Sadao, Yumi tells me the servants feel they cannot stay if we hide this man here anymore, and she informed him that the servants were unwilling to stay there until the enemy was there in the room, in their house. She tells me that they are saying that you and I were so long America that we have forgotten to think of our own country first. Or they think we like Americans. So Yumi informed, she told her that since both of them, both Hannah and Sadao, spent a lot of time in America, so they had developed some kind of love for the Americans, and that they had forgotten to think of their countrymen first. So this is all for now. Thank you.